Okay, so as I said, if you want to learn cloud computing, you must understand what is virtualization. So, see, virtualization is something where we are sharing the software or the hardware resources, okay, from the existing computer or existing server, right? Understood?
Yeah.
Okay. So, for example, sharing, I'll just write down the definition here. Sharing of hardware or software resources virtually from existing computer or server. Okay, so for example, if you have a computer which is having like i5 i5 processor, okay, i5 8th generation processor, and have some 16 GB of RAM and have, have 1 TB of hard disk. Okay, so so what happens is, in case if you are having a requirement where you want to test some application, all right, and that particular application needs to be tested on a different environment, like a Linux environment or the Mac operating system, and also on Android or the Windows. So if you have one server where you have already installed Windows, okay, and you have tested your application and found that it's working fine with Windows, now you want to test it on another operating system or another platform. At that time, what you need to do, you can install the operating system. You can also install the multiple operating system. Okay, so you can install one more operating system and verify it. So in case of other platform, like if you want to test it on Android or Linux or Mac operating system, you cannot go on and adding the operating systems platforms to the same server, okay, on the same hard drive. All right. So what is the solution for this? Solution for this is that you can install this operating system using a virtualization method. You're getting my point?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you have any doubts, you can ask me anytime, all right?
Yep.
Okay. So here what happens, I mean, what you can do is you can install the operating system virtually or whatever you want. Simultaneously, one thing is simultaneously, you can run all the operating system like Windows, Linux, Mac operating system. Okay, Android also. You can install Android on virtualization. Okay, using the resources which I have mentioned here, we have i5 8th generation processor, 16 GB. From this, you can actually utilize like i5 8th generation is the processor. Suppose if you have a 4-core processor, you can use one core here for one operating system and use RAM about 4 GB of RAM and use some of like 100 GB of space from the hard drive to install the operating system. Similarly, you can actually install a multiple operating system using the existing hardware of your computer. This is only called the virtualization. So the virtualization gives you an option, and this is a feature where you can do things virtually instead of doing it on physical computer or servers. All right, understood?
Yep.
Okay, so what are the virtualization softwares? Do you have any idea?
VMware has
Uh,
ESXi,
right, VMware. Okay,
uh, Paramox.
ESXi, okay.
per Permox, something Proxmox.
Proxmox, okay.
Um, there's a hyper. Obviously, Microsoft has, I think, a hypervisor. Is it
Right,
Hyper-V?
right. VirtualBox, Hyper-V.
And there's NXSG or something like that.
Right. So there are many you can use. So primarily, as the market is captured, the VMware, ESXi server, Hyper-V, VirtualBox. These are the prominent softwares used by the IT industries for the testing or installing or using for the virtualization. All right. So what's the difference between these software? Let's see. Suppose ESXi virtualization is different actually. Okay. It
Mhm.
it doesn't comes under these category. Okay. Do you know the reason behind this?
Nope.
Okay. Okay. So to understand this, you need to understand what is hypervisor. Second thing here it comes is what is hypervisor? Hypervisor. Have any idea?
Well, hypervisor sits between the bare metal and the virtual machines. Hypervisor is the one that we're going to slice these pieces, virtually.
Right. Okay. So what exactly it is?
Hy-
Software.
Hyper, yeah,
Sorry?
it's a piece of like a software or operating
Right.
system, maybe if I can say.
Okay. Hypervisor is a kernel file. Kernel file. Okay. And on the using this kernel file, this VMware using this kernel file, VMware, VirtualBox, Box Hyper-V is built. Okay. So this is the kernel file uh, which actually facilitate where you can divide the existing hardware into virtual machine. All right. So suppose as I have given example above here, so you have the existing hardware and you can create an virtual machine from this hardware using different configuration. So to actually shows those option, hypervisor is programmed by these software companies. Understood?
Hmm.
Or do you have any doubts here?
No, no, I mean, I'm okay. So hypervisor is just a file.
Kernel file, all right?
Uh, no.
It's yeah, kernel file. It's a base actually. Without this hypervisor, you cannot run the virtualization software. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So all right. So there are two types of hypervisors, all right? Next comes is there are there are two types of hypervisor. One is the hosted, and the second one is the bare metal.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you know the difference? What is hosted and what is bare metal? Any idea?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hosted is actually it's going to sit on top of the maybe Windows 11 operating system, let's say.
Mhm.
Versus bare metal is like the name says, bare metal. So it's going. You pick up a server, metal, and
Okay.
then you're going to put the kernel file.
Right. Exactly. So what happens is, see, so we'll just check the hosted one first, all right? Okay. This is your hardware, server or computer, okay? So the upper layer, what would be? What would be the upper layer for hosted in this case?
The hypervisor.
Mhm.
Windows or
Right,
Windows or
right,
Linux.
right. So this will be the Windows, okay? Windows, or you can say operating system. You can, we'll just write here. It's operating system, okay? So
Mm-hmm.
this will be the second layer. Or what would be third layer?
The hypervisor.
Right, exactly. So third layer would be the hypervisor,
Yeah,
okay? And the fourth layer?
the slices
Right,
machines.
right. So this is virtual machines. So you can create as many virtual machines you want to create. You can add here, right, with the different operating system. So this is
Mm-hmm.
okay. So this is hosted environment, okay. And what will the bare metal in this case,
Um, just the hardware first.
right? So this is hosted, okay. And next comes is bare metal. So we will the first layer would be hardware, right?
Mm-hmm.
The second layer will be
Hypervisor.
hypervisor, right? And the third layer would be the virtual machines,
Machines.
right? Now, what is the difference here? So here what happens is in hosted, you will be creating the virtual machine on a local hard drive, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So the virtual machines will be stored on a local hard drive. And if you want to run those virtual machine, you need to turn on the server, boot the operating system, and open the hypervisor, and then run the virtual machines. So in bare metal, what happens? You will get the centralized environment. Okay. So you just need to turn on,
The physical server.
right, turn on the physical server, and the clients will be connected. clients will be connected to the server using the browser. Okay, using the internet browser, you can access the hypervisor and create the machines in the server.
Yeah.
Okay, so have you done any kind of a practical on this bare metal?
ESXi, yes.
You have done it, right?
And I tried in the lab on Proxmox.
Okay.
I
So
haven't done bare metal, but I have
okay,
VMware workstation and even G running on a Windows
okay,
laptop.
I understand. No problem. So do you want to do this practical for
Which practical, the bare metal
bare
one?
metal? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So okay, we'll try on that. All right. Say if you want to do the practical on a bare metal, so if you have a machine, uh, what you need to do is you need to download a image, the ESXi server image with a drivers, compatible drivers to that particular machine's NIC card, network card. All right. Then only you will be able to install this ESXi server on the machine. Otherwise, it is very difficult. So you need to find out first what kind of Ethernet card is there on the server, and by doing that, I mean you will come to know the make of the Ethernet. So you need to search for the ESXi image to install on that server, which is bundled with that Ethernet card drivers. All right. So that will be a little difficult, but if you can arrange in a machine and provide me with the details with the NIC card make, all right. What I will do is I will search and give you an option where you can download that image and install and do the practical. Okay. Understood, or do you have any doubts on bare metal or a hosted?
No.
No idea. No,
I
right?
I think there's one thing I just want to mention here because I had an experience. Um, the I have a Dell I think R320 or server
Mm-hmm,
blade server,
mm-hmm,
um, and that will not run anything beyond ESXi. I think 6.0 or 5.0.
mm. Okay.
Uh, so just so you know, but Proc versus Proxmox,
Mm-hmm,
um, I think it runs very latest software on my same physical server with 4 drives in a RAID
okay.
environment.
Okay.
I just wanted to let you know, maybe that was my experience. So ESX, I could not install the latest one because
Mm-hmm.
the limitation on the hardware itself.
Right. Okay. So
So,
okay.
gaining contracts in this cloud space, would you say that I probably need to, at the very least, have some experience building a bare metal and installing ESXi hosts
No, no, not
or
at all.
CloudSmart?
No, no, not at all, actually. It's just for your knowledge, all right? So you will be thorough about the cloud environment. Okay, see, uh, uh, I think the meeting will disconnect in 10 minutes. Okay, I would request you to rejoin. All right. So as I said, the bare metal is the base actually for cloud computing. So suppose whatever whoever is the provider, okay. So whether it's an AWS, Microsoft Azure, or a GCP, all right, they have their own hypervisors, okay. They have their designed own hypervisors. So suppose the AWS on AWS, okay. So you want to opt for a high-end server, okay, and you want to host your website on that server. Okay. So what happens is I mean, there will be an option where you can uh, you can offer the dedicated server on the cloud space, or you can use the shared server. Okay. So if you're using a shared server, what happens is you will be using uh, the server which is shared by multiple users. Okay, so in one server they have created virtual machines, different types of virtual machines, you can say, or the hypervisor is installed on those servers, all right, so that you can run your virtual machine and create your web server. So I just wanted to convey that bare metal is what actually enhanced and developed further uh, for the cloud computing. Okay, so only the thing is the bare metal, if you're installing it on your server at your house. Okay, okay, so that will be accessed using so suppose if you're outside and you want to access that server, you will be using the VPN connection, right? Virtual private network connection. So cloud is something, I mean, where, I mean, you can use only the internet. If you're having an internet connection, you can actually access or create your servers virtually anytime, all right? Just few clicks. So this is, all these things were possible because of the bare metal technology. Understood?
Yes.
Okay. Any doubts?
So just
Mm-hmm,
the allocation of resources.
mm-hmm.
So with the hosted, the OS is allocating the resources, right? And then in the bare metal, it would be the hypervisor. Is that correct? Like RAM and the CPU
Mm-hmm.
per VM?
No, hypervisor only a, a file which actually can allocate existing hardware to create an virtual environment. Operating system is, again, it's a platform for the hosted hosted environment to install the hypervisor.
Well, but in the hosted environment, right?
Mm-hmm.
The OS is the second layer, and it's definitely taking CPU and RAM and whatnot, right?
Yes,
So,
absolutely. Yes.
so then how does how is that divided up? So if the OS is holding on to so much of the CPU and RAM,
Right.
how does does it allocate the remainder to the hypervisor so that
Right.
it can
Right.
divide?
Right. Exactly. So so after installation, if you have a hardware or a server, okay, installed within an operating system. Okay, so you can take this example. Okay, so I have a laptop. I have installed Windows 10. So it is already allocated the hardware resources like RAM and the processor and the hard drive to the for the operating system. So if you're installing VMware in this operating system, and if you want to create a virtual machine, whatever the remaining resources will be there, like RAM, hard drive, and the processor, from that it will actually use uh, a, a bit size of the processor, RAM, and the hard drive, and help you to create the virtual machine. Understood? Or have doubt?
Understood.
Okay. Okay. So next comes is the types of cloud. Okay, how many types of cloud are there? Do you have an idea?
How many
Types of
AWS
cloud.
are types of cloud?
Types of
Private
cloud.
and public.
Right. And
Private,
mhm,
private, public, and hybrid.
right. Okay, so there are three types of cloud. One is the private cloud. Cloud and the hybrid cloud. Okay, so what is private cloud? Next comes is what is private cloud? Any idea? Rick, come on.
Private cloud is managed by, say, one entity, and they control everything within that space. So maybe they have their own data center or their own hosted space in the data center, and only they can access it or um, and give access to third party vendors, etc., customers.
Right. So the private cloud is something where you can provide access to a particular person, and that particular person only can access those resources. Okay. So for example, uh, on private cloud, the resources are hosted or stored for the private access. Okay. And it won't be available publicly, right? So, for example, a government website, right? Suppose if you have a project, right, where you want to keep some privacy, okay, and you don't want it to be available publicly over the internet, so you can store it on a private cloud, right? And the public cloud,
Public
pub,
cloud is Amazon and